Welcome to Tea with Lilybet and to a beautiful rainy summer's day in Melbourne. In this video, I'll be tackling some messy corners of my home that I like to refer to as clutter hotspots. Not only will I be doing some decluttering, but I will be reorganizing those areas to make them work more efficiently. And I also briefly want to check in with my balcony garden to give my plants a little bit of maintenance. This area on the edge of my kitchen is an area that constantly builds up. That's the first space that's a bit messy. Another spot that is a constant challenge is this little drop zone. At the moment, I've got quite a bit here because I did a declutter of my storage cage and I brought some things into the apartment that I want to go into this storage cupboard. I also have a Christmas gift that a client gave me and some bits and pieces that just need to be sorted and put away. This is an area that is going to need maintenance because I do use it as a drop zone. So I'm not worried that I have things here, but it is something that I need to stay on top of. And the final area that I really need to tackle is inside the storage cupboard. Not only does it store my musical instruments, but I also use it as a charging station with all of my devices that I use in my job. And because I'm always taking things in and out of the cupboard, it inevitably gets pretty cluttered and messy. I particularly want to focus on some of the higher shelves today because there are some items in there that just don't belong in this cupboard. I want to tackle the area on my kitchen bench first. I'm going to start by sorting everything in this area into piles. There's definitely a lot of rubbish that needs to be thrown out, some paperwork that needs to be sorted and either filed or digitized. I may find some items that I want to give away. And finally, I need to find some spots in the house where some of these items should go.
Said hi, 'cause I was way too shy. What would have happened if you just had passed me by tonight? We keep on drinking, keep on wishing for someone out there to hold. All those little moments, the bites you didn't catch me looking over your shoulder, just at the right time. Those little moments all led me to you. Only God knew about all those little moments.
So this is the pile for everything that I need to find a place for in the house. Shredding, digitizing, storage cage. This is medical stuff that needs to be filed and some batteries that need to be recycled. And I've thrown away the recycling and the rubbish already. So I'm going to leave these all here because some of these items might end up in my storage cupboard, and I will be sorting that out as one of my messy hotspots. Okay, so this is my next messy hotspot that I want to tackle. I've got some things that I brought in from my storage cage declutter that was part of my last video, and I need to find home for those. This one was part of that declutter as well. And then I've got a little gift that I got given for Christmas by one of my beautiful clients. This is the Christmas stuff that I was going to give away, so I want to take that to the car and get that straight out of the house. I'll put it with the storage cage stuff over here to make sure that that goes out. I would really like to get some of these things into this storage cupboard. So let's clear this area first. Let's clear the floor. and see if there's any rubbish that I can get rid of immediately, or at least sort. I'm going to keep everything here for now because I'm going to be adding to this area when I attack the cupboard. The sun has finally come out, so I thought I'd take a little break from the decluttering and see how some of my plants on the balcony are doing. This succulent here is doing really well. It's got some flowers, and look at all these new growths that are happening. So I think it's pretty happy in this position. I don't think I'm going to do much with that. I could trim off this little bit, just maybe remove some of those dry leaves. A few weeks ago, I decided to replant this into the same pot, and I took a cutting for my sister as well. So it lost a bit of its fullness around the sides, but it seems to be going quite well. So it just needs a little bit of watering. This is the succulent that I planted around Christmas time, and that seems to be settling in okay. It's got a few leaves that have fallen off, but generally I think it's doing okay. The Banksia actually got a bit burnt, and I had to remove a whole part of the plant here. But it seems to be doing okay now. I just need to watch that it doesn't dry out too much. My beautiful grass tree, who I've called Ludwig van Beethoven, is coming along really beautifully since I cut off the spike flower. And look at all this beautiful growth. So it's been a little bit flattened, but that's going to just bloom right up. All of these beautiful leaves are going to fill this space. So I think it's going to come along quite nicely. And the grass, I just gave it a trim yesterday. It's really settled in now and doing well. And then it comes to the lime chimes, and I'm very excited to tell you that the lime chimes have started to bloom for the first time since I got the plant. And this is what the little bells are like. They're a delicate light green to white color, and you can see all of the buds that are just waiting to bloom on here. There's so many of them. This whole plant is going to just come alive. And you can see that the plant's really grown since I potted it, but there's a few little burnt leaves here that I might need to trim off, but so many little buds are ready to bloom. Let's see if I can show you one. There's a bud. They are supposed to be a green color, and they do have a slight green hue to them. They're just beautiful. And then I've got my ferns. This fern has got the most fronds that I've seen since I got it. A couple of leaves that probably need to be cut, but doing the best that it's ever done. So I think it likes this position. And my maidenhair fern has really come back after going through a really bad bout of hot weather, and just so many leaves shriveled up and died. And then I just started watering it. You can see that I've got some new fronds coming up in there. And it's not where it was before the whole die-off happened, but it's so much better and it's really coming along beautifully. Especially this section of the plant seems to be blooming really well. And this one also suffered a little bit with the heat. I don't think it really likes hot weather much, so there's a few dry leaves that I need to pull out. So I'll give all of those a little cleanup as well. Okay, it is the moment of truth. It's time to look in the storage cupboard. I haven't looked in here for a few days, but the last time I looked, it was pretty messy. And I know that I need to tidy it up. It's one of those hotspot areas in my home that gets used a lot because I do remove instruments and put them back. And I also have a charging station in there, so my devices are always coming in and out of that particular shelf. So I am expecting that I will have to tidy this up on a regular basis. But I also want to reconfigure how I'm using it because I've got these new items that I've brought in from the storage cage. I do want to find space for those things and maybe move some things out of that cupboard, particularly on some of the high shelves that I only ever put there for temporary reasons when I first moved in. So I'm going to have a look now and start shuffling things around. I'm just going to move this guitar as well to give myself a bit more room. So this shelf isn't too bad, but then my charging area has gotten extremely messy. I've got a whole bunch of papers jammed on that side. I think that's just sort of stuff I didn't know what to do with. The next shelf, hard to know. I can't really see from this angle, but I'm sure there's mess. And then down the bottom here, I really want to work on this shelf because I've got some temporary things jammed in there, and especially the toolkit needs to come out. Those are guitar strings, I think. These are where I keep my taller instruments. And then these top shelves are the ones that I think I can probably do a little bit better with on both sides. So I'm going to get a ladder now and have a look at them. Musical instruments and a bag that I use that has more instruments in them. I keep some camera equipment in here. This shelf is particularly bad. I've got some things that need to be digitized and some things that need to be filed, and I don't know which pile is which. So that's obviously needing a little bit of work. And up the top here, power connectors for devices. Yeah, those are legitimate storage items. That's my shredding bucket, and then I've stocked some of these Dettol wipes that I use, and I need to use that for cleaning instruments, so I've stocked up a bit there. And then over this side, I've got some memorabilia, some of Millie's things, some empty boxes, and I think some of this can go into the storage cage. And the next level down, those are liners for drawers, and I really do need to replace some of the ones in the drawers that I have in the kitchen and bathroom, so I want to use those. It's a little utility container. It has batteries and 3M hooks and all kinds of handy little bits and pieces that I use when I do my little cleanups and house organizations. So I probably do need to go through that, but I want to take the things that are from this shelf out and have a look. And this is camera equipment and another bag with some instruments in it. I'm not sure what might be at the back there. What I'm going to do is take everything from these 3 shelves out and these 3 shelves, and definitely the bottom shelf as well. And then after I've done all that, I'll deal with this recharging shelf because it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I mean, that tambourine should not be there, and it definitely needs to be put into order. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out everything that's on these top 6 shelves. I've decided to actually stop there and not bring anything else out because I've run out of surface area to put things on. So I'm just going to give some of these shelves that I've emptied out a bit of a wipe, and then I can start to think about what I want to put away on those shelves, and then I'll deal with the next lot. I'll sort through this paperwork here, and these items are all going to go back in for sure. Got to sort through these items. Those are the guitar strings. And then this is sort of memorabilia and decorative stuff that I do need to go through. And then I've had to put some of the items on the bench over here. This is Millie, darling Millie's in here, and some of her things. So I've got to decide if they're going to go back in the cupboard or not. I'll find another home for them. And these are empty boxes for gadgets that I want to hang on to, because if I ever resell them, things like the iPhone, it's always good to have the packaging. So let's just sort through all of this and get rid of any rubbish and rehome anything that's not going to go back in that cupboard. see if I can get Millie into this shelf. Yes, she just goes in there. So these ones can now go here. And I'm also going to put the guitar cable, the guitar things in there. I think it's time now to get out the items from the other shelves before I can put anything else away. I need to shuffle a few more things around. So let's get these things out. Just going to give them a wipe as well, those shelves. Cable. And I think this top shelf is going to be for supplies. Yeah, so I want to change that around a little bit. And the toner can go up there as well. Things that I don't need to access very often all can go up in here. All of the spares. The utility box I think is going to go back where it was. Actually, I use it more than I do the stationery, so I'm going to move the stationery up here. And the utility box will go here. I just want to consolidate these now. These are cables that I don't use very often, and all of these power things can go together, and they can go up. The spare paper for the printer would like to go somewhere handy. I could just keep it next to the printer, that would be ideal, but I don't think that's going to work. So I do have some envelopes and some other stationery, so maybe they'll just go on the top shelf up here. So I think I want to save this shelf for some instruments that I want to bring in, and I'm probably going to end up bringing the shelf lower. Okay, this drum is going to go up here. The tambourine is going to go up here. I'm wondering about this utility box if I put it down on the bottom shelf. I'm going to consolidate all the shredding now. So I've got a few free containers that I can use. So I've just emptied all the shredding from here into this paper bag. I am going to be getting a small shredder, but I haven't found the one I want yet, and I need to do a bit of research. So I'm just going to take it down to my local place that does shredding in bulk, and once I get the shredder, I'll be able to do it on a more regular basis. This container doesn't fit on the shelf that I want, so I've put this container here to capture anything that I want to be shredded in the future. I've got some paperwork that I need to sort through because I've let it build up for a while. It's quite a big job, so I'm not going to do it as part of this declutter, but I'm going to get it all set up and prepared so that when I am ready to do it, I don't have to go looking for it. So I just want to put everything away now and take some things that need to go down to the storage cage and get them into containers down there. And yeah, there's a few little items that I'm going to need to find homes for around the place. I also need to tidy up the recharging station. I'm going to do that first, actually. So the last thing I did was I just wiped down this area at the bottom here and just put this back a little bit more neatly. So down the bottom there, I've got my utility container, that drawer lining there, because I want to do some projects in my kitchen and bathroom with that. All of my large instruments are unchanged. I've consolidated both my music bags onto the same shelf now, and the ukulele is sitting on top. And then up here I've got a little container for collecting up documents that I want to shred. I've got my stationery box there, and I've got these temporary items that need to be sorted and fixed. And then up the top I've got a whole bunch of work equipment, which is stored on the top shelf because I don't use it as often. On this side I've got all of my additional supplies, masks, wipes, that sort of thing, stationery, laptop bag. And this is the shelf that I'm planning to put some instruments from the storage cage into when I get to that. The next shelf down, I've got a little bit of space on there, but it's got the camera bag and it's got some masks and some wipes that I use to clean instruments, the printer and cables and some filming equipment on the next shelf down. My charging station has been cleaned. That regularly gets messy, so I just gave it a tidy and a wipe down. And then down the bottom I've got a bag that I use for instruments and my large djembe drum and another bag that I use for taking instruments to clients. Then by the door I've got my documents for shredding, my toolbox, and these items that are going to be going into storage. That's Christmas and storage stuff. And that's a picture frame that's going into storage cage. And on the table, these are spare containers which will go into the storage cage as well. And these are going to go into the storage cage. That one is going to go with my exercise gear in the house. This is a giveaway item. These are going to be recycled, and both of those are giveaway items. The last thing I want to do is give everything a wipe down and the place a tidy, and then we'll look at the final results. So let's take a look at the final results of this clutter hotspot cleanup. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It always helps my channel. And of course, if you haven't already joined the channel, I would love to welcome you as a new subscriber. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.